What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Book Binge on the King Crusoe YouTube channel. This is episode 17, and this week we are covering Holes by Louis Sachar. This is a review for Holes. Very similar to the Endurance review, which was episode 15. I don't have even any notes for this, so although none of my book reviews, except for the Count the Classics one, which I started in April if you want to watch the Frankenstein review, all of my Book Binge book reviews are unscripted, but almost all of them have notes. This one and the Endurance reviews don't even have notes, so this is probably going to be a little bit more rough. This is going to be a little bit shorter. It's just going to be me talking a little bit about the book and then just getting out of here. I just needed extra short, easy videos to get out during these couple of months when I didn't have time to be able to prepare very much videos, which I outline and talk about in the April State of Affairs video, which you can watch right up there. So, without further ado, let me just talk a little bit about this book. I'm pretty sure most people at this point in time, at least people my age, have read Holes, and most people have also watched the movie. They are both very good, and and if you've ever wondered why the movie adaptation was so good, well, it's because the author of the book actually wrote the screenplay, so there's that. But for all intents and purposes, Holes is a classic. It was published in like the late 90s or something like that, so it's not like old enough to be your typical classic, quote unquote. But I predict that in another 50 or 60 years, when classics have, go up to the year 2000 or something like that, Holes will be amongst the classics. So even though it's definitely children's literature, and it is for very young audiences, it very much deserves the recognition that it has. It is popular for a reason, because it is good. And probably the best thing that I can say about it is so short. It is so easy to read. It is for younger audiences, but it doesn't really feel out of place. There are only a couple jokes that don't really land for me as I'm a little bit older, but basically everything about this book just works in a way that a lot of younger stuff doesn't, at least for me anymore. When I read this at the very end of December 2021, I was just fitting it in as a quick 2 or 3 day read before I started reading books for January and starting 2022 with a fairly hefty reading schedule, all things considered. Holes was very short. I actually expected for this to take me anywhere from 3 to 5 days. I was caught off guard when I believe I may have finished it in 2 days. Just 1 day to read part 1 day to read parts 2 and 3, and part 3 is only like a few pages anyway. So if you have not yet experienced this book, basically the only thing that I can say is read it, because it is at least a children's classic at this point for a very good reason. Like I said, characters are pretty good, interactions are usually very funny. The plot is very simple and straightforward, but it works well enough for a children's book. If you just want something that'll take you a day, maybe 2, to read in between a couple books, or if you're just interested in picking something else up that's a little bit different, Holes is the book for you, to be honest. Like, there's no beating around the bush with this one. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my camera right now, and I'm only 5 minutes into the recording of this. It may be more like 3 minutes when you're actually watching the video. I don't know if I have anything else to say, like, without just explaining the story and dragging this video out 7 minutes longer than it needs to be. Holes is great. Like, I went into this reading it as a palate cleanser, expecting it to be a mediocre, or expecting it to be like, oh yeah, I read this in 6th grade, I enjoyed it, now it's an okay book, but I don't need to read it again. I could see myself reading this again in the future if I have 2 days in between a couple books that I want to read, and I don't know what else to read. Or at least when I have kids at some point in time, this makes a very great book for them when they get to, elementary, middle school age. But even if you're an adult, like I said, if you have not read this book yet, you should read it. But other than that, I don't even have anything else to say. So yeah, there wasn't really much to this video, and there isn't really much to say, oh well, if you enjoyed, like the video. But if you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the fancy YouTube stuff. In the meantime, while you're waiting for more stuff to come out on the channel, because I actually don't know off the top of my head what's coming out next. I think maybe in 2 weeks, on the next Monday, I'll have a review for something. It will probably be book 2 of The Dark Tower, but I'm not entirely sure. I think I might have some sort of a critical analysis coming out this month, but again, I don't remember. I'm not entirely sure at this point in time. So, regardless, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to check out my backlog of YouTube videos with a bunch of other reviews that I've done up to this point, you can go ahead and do that on seasonalproductions.com, where all of my video content and all of my writing content are at. I believe this is just going to do it for this video. Sorry for the really short one. Sorry for just a really brief video, but this is all I was able to get out in time, so I very much apologize for that, but stick around in a couple weeks for my next Dark Tower review. If you haven't watched the Gunslinger one, you can go ahead and watch that up there. But other than that, I don't have anything else to say, so thank you all for watching. I'll be back again whenever I'm back, I guess.